So let's get this straight. I work 40 years, put money into a 401k, and then hope that by the time I retire that there's enough money there?
Right. And what happens if the stock market crashes right before you retire? I guess you work in a couple more years.
USOL. See, here's the problem, Wealth Nation. People think that a 401k is a wealth building tool. It's not. It's just a waiting game. And it's a waiting game where you have to cross your fingers and hope that you do not run out of money.
Right. And in this video, we're going to break down exactly why your 401k won't make you wealthy and what you can do instead to build real financial freedom.
Exactly. So here's the thing. The lie of the 401k is that we have all been told, just max out your 401k and you will be rich. But let's break down those intricacies because it's not quite that simple.
Right. It wasn't necessarily a lie. It's just misunderstood.
It's a lie. It's a face lie.
So listen, first of all, who actually retires rich off of 401k?
Name somebody. In the comments, name somebody.
Because last time I checked, most retirees are terrified of running out of money.
Yeah, pause for effect though. Name somebody. Cue the crickets, Roger. I can.
Nah, not a 401k alone.
No, and I love the point that you were just saying, like they're terrified because all of the individuals that I know that have retired and they're banking on their retirement accounts, it's like they're on such a fixed income, right? That now it's like scarcity mode.
Yeah.
Right. How many amazing professionals did you meet, like killing it in the corporate realm and then they retire and then all of a sudden they went straight to scarcity because they can only live off of $3,000 a month, not a penny more.
Yeah. Because they were just dependent on just that one asset.
Mm-hmm. But I digress. We were just trying to get the effect of like really think about it. Because the fact is that studies show that the average person who has a 401k balance at retirement is typically only $250,000. And $250,000 is supposed to last 20 to 30 years, maybe even longer because we're living longer.
Well, so here's the thing. This was told to me years ago, and it made a lot of sense. Is the fact that 401ks are for it's a great tool, and it's for individuals who without a 401k wouldn't save any money.
Okay. It had a purpose.
Who has, maybe bad spending habits and they wouldn't invest their money into other things. That's for people who would not otherwise save any money.
I can see that.
So they use this tool or 401k as a way to help people who wouldn't save otherwise. Mm-hmm. Because when you think about it, just having a 401k alone with the average numbers being 250,000, that's barely $1,000 a month. $1,000 a month. That's not wealth. That's, like you said, that's survival.
Yeah, that's poverty. Really, that's what it is. So here's the thing. I like that you've debunked it. That at one point there was a specific tool for it, but however, marketing and advertising and just miseducation, misinformation have put it into this bucket where people feel like this is all that I need to be successful. We used to have pensions, and 401ks were supposed to supplement pensions, but once 401ks came around, pensions. What had happened was okay. So
we're not going to be on the hook.
So let's move forward and let's talk about why your 401k is not a wealth building tool. And there's a few points that we want to address here. So the very first point is you have zero control over your money. And if you've watched any of our videos on the Wealth Nation channel, you know that we are all about having control over your money. Because the fact is, with a 401k, there is no control. Because what happens if you need access to your money prior to the age of 59 and a half?
Right.
That's you getting smacked with a penalty, right? And what happens if you need it and there's a market crash? Too bad, you're stuck.
Yeah, because imagine working for decades and not being able to touch your own money. Because in life happens.
Life be lifing.
Life be lifing. So you mean if with a 401k, my other alternative is going to be high interest debt, which a lot of people end up getting into.
Yeah.
So the alternative is high interest debt. Mm-hmm. Because we don't have control of our 401k. We need to have assets that we actually have control of.
And going back to, we don't even have control of our money if we need to tap into a 401k to have access to cash. Right. So there's some habits that we need to maybe handle.
And yeah, we can get loans from our 401k, but when we get a loan, that the amount that we borrow isn't still being actively invested.
True.
You know what I mean?
True. Very good point.
We interrupt this regular scheduled program to bring you an important message.
Are you struggling to build wealth and feeling stuck in the paycheck to paycheck cycle?
Listen, financial freedom isn't just for the rich. It's about anyone who knows how to play the money game the right way.
And that's exactly why we teach our program called Financial Freedom for Your Whole Life, which is a step-by-step system so that you can start taking control of your money, creating cash, and stop depending on the banks.
So if you're ready to break free and start building real wealth, click on the link and join us today.
Back to our regular scheduled program. So let's talk about the second point, is that you're gambling with the stock market. So going back to what Darius was saying, that this tool was created for individuals who may not have other avenues. The other thing to consider is that many people don't realize that your entire retirement is literally riding on the market that you can't control. Going back to the control situation. So if the stock market crashes right before you retire, what happens? Your lifestyle takes a significant hit.
Right. And you know, I remember signing up when working in corporate America, signing up for the 401k program, and they give you certain things that you can invest in. Like a lot of times it's what the company offers. Now, it's a lot of times it's the set it and forget it. Like I put my money into this thing, I have money going in, and you just forget about it. Mm-hmm. Ideally, when you want to invest in the market, you want to understand exactly what you're investing in, and that's not the case. And let's not forget that the average returns that advisors like to talk about, they don't account for market crashes, fees, or inflation eating up your gains.
Now here's point number 3, talking about hidden fees that you were just alluding to. Because did you know that the average 401k has hidden fees that can eat up between 30 and 40% of your returns over time? That's a lot of money. And it's going straight to someone else's pocket. Are you aware of that?
And let's be real. Like, ask yourself, if you wouldn't let someone take 40% of your paycheck every single month, you know what right?
That's me taking money out of your paycheck.
Then don't set yourself up for that to happen in retirement. Because with the 401k, we are pushing taxes from paying taxes right now to paying taxes in the future.
Wait, you're eating up my part, which is point number 4. Point number 4 is delaying taxes.
So I'm just saying, like,
stick to point number 3, hidden fees.
No, I got it. Like the hidden fees are serious, and it's not just like fees. It's other things that take into account, because like we're mentioning fees, but you're going to talk about taxes. I mean, what are you left with? You're left with the crumbs. It's back to what we talked about in a previous video, where they were saying, where we did a video on taxes, where we were saying Uncle Sam will take your money and say, you know, here's gas money. And retirement is even worse, because it's not just taxes, it's fees, it's all these other things that inflation. You spent your time working hard for, that you don't get to realize, that you don't get to benefit.
I love that. So now let's go into point number 4, which is delaying taxes. And the thing is people love to say, you save on taxes now, right? But what happens when you withdraw that money in retirement? You're going to pay full income tax on that money from your retirement account.
Right. And the thing is, we know what taxes are now. We don't know what it's going to be in the future, because taxes are probably going to go up. Right now, our deficit is at $36 trillion.
For the United States. Yes.
I don't know how they manage our budget or our deficit, because every time I look at it, is at a higher number. And granted, there's a lot of stuff going on in DC around our deficit and how to cut money and
that's
and
above our pay grade.
That's above our pay grade. That's not what this video is about. But in delaying taxes,
the point is that somebody has to pay that money.
Somebody got to pay it at some point. At some point. And there's a good possibility that in the future, that at a later date, it could be at a higher rate. So let's consider what is taxes right now compared to what it could be, which we don't know. We know what it is right now, but then we don't know what it is in the future.
We do not. All right, so let's move on to the solution. I think we've painted a big picture on what the problem is. Let's get to the facts. Let's give the people what they need to know to move forward.
Okay, so at the end of the day, the wealthy don't rely on 401ks, right? They use cash flowing assets and tax-free wealth strategies that build real financial security. So that brings up to one of the first options is to use whole life insurance as a wealth vault, because think about it, a 401k is a savings, right? A wealth vault with a life insurance policy, a whole life insurance policy is very similar to savings. So a high cash value whole life insurance policy lets you grow tax-free wealth access money anytime, which gives you control, and you never have to worry about market crashes, which because it's a correlated asset. It has nothing to do with the stock market.
It's a non-correlated asset. Yes. Yeah, because you want to have, as we've talked about, diversification. You want to have other tools doing different things because we know their strengths. We know the characteristics of all of the different assets. So it's important for you to have multiple assets out doing different things for you.
Right. Again, the problem isn't the 401k. The problem is relying solely on the 401k. So add a whole life insurance, whole life policy, Wealth Vault to your assets.
The next one, let's talk about investing in cash flowing assets, right? So if you have a 401k, are there other ways that you can make money? So instead of just hoping that this lump sum of money is going to last, we need to figure out what are cash flowing assets like real estate, businesses, or even dividend paying stocks, for example. And what I mean by cash flow is money that's consistently coming back to you. Yeah. You've invested a lump sum of money for something, but you're getting a return, steady return, right? Because if you compare it to a nest egg, which is a 401k, which is a lump sum of money, and you're depleting from it every single month, you're not backfilling it. Right. And that's why all of these retirees that we're seeing are terrified of spending any money because they know that there's nothing that's coming back in. So that's why cash flowing assets are always going to be the name of the game when it comes to creating retirement for yourself.
Right. We got savings, we got the vault, and now we're talking about cash flow. And cash flow equals freedom. Mm-hmm. A 401k doesn't give you ongoing income, just a slow drain of your savings. Every time you get money from your 401k, it's depleting the overall funds that's available. It's reducing it. When you have cash flow, it continues. It doesn't deplete. It just continues over and over again. And cash flow is something that you can even pass on to another generation, where you can't pass on your 401k because it's depleting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, whatever's left.
Yeah, you can pass on whatever's left. You can't pass on the asset.
Yeah. So let's
cash flowing asset.
Let's talk about number 3, which is tax-free retirement strategies. What in the world could those be? So instead of delaying taxes, how about use tax-free strategies like a Roth IRA? How about a whole life insurance policy? Go figure. And other tax advantage investments that allow you to keep more of your money, right? So pay the taxes now so that you don't have to pay the taxes later.
Right. And at the end of the day, we're not saying that you should pick one over the other. We're saying to diversify across these different tools and have all these tools in your tool belt, because a 401k alone won't just do it. And look, we'll never say use a 401k. We're not saying to never use a 401k again. But if you think it's going to make you wealthy, you're in for a rude awakening.
Mm-hmm. And it just goes back to needing clarity. When you consider your retirement future, the thing that we typically lack is we don't have the clarity and understanding what is the lifestyle that I want to live. So we just kind of put our head in the sand and go, oh, we'll put $300 a month towards this account, and not realize what that is or isn't going to do for us in our retirement. So right now, if you're watching this video, through and through, really consider, what do I want my life to look like? Do I want to drink water at the restaurant, or do I want to drink wine or my favorite beverage? Do I want to live on a fixed income?
Sparkling water.
Or do I want to create more ways of creating wealth so that I'm not strapped every single month, right? These are just things that you really need to start considering, because building wealth is all about having control, creating cash flow, and living in a tax-free growth environment. And it's not just about hoping that your retirement accounts are going to last.
And if you're ready to stop waiting for wealth and start building it, check out our program, Financial Freedom for Your Whole Life.
And we walk you through step by step how to build a real wealth strategy that isn't just about retirement, it's about living free today.
And hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment. What are your biggest retirement concerns? Let's talk about it.
And don't forget to check out our next video.
Remember to own your own lifestyle,
or someone else will.